Yeah, because I never go back and look at them, and some of them are great. And so I will put some of the others up. So if you're joining us on live stream, this is our second Sunday service, and it's second Sunday conversations. So we are doing fun conversations, getting the brilliance of everyone in this space, and going to give a couple more minutes for people to get here. They are still coming. Thank you. Good.
It allows the V for Valerie just to flow in.
I know.
The sun's getting in its right spot.
Yeah, my vortex.
It is. I have to hold it to my chin. Sorry. I tell you, it's such a weird sensation. But I'll do it.
Yeah. And so we'll probably still run that one around because the other one, the cord is just not long enough.
Happy to do it.
Yeah, great. All right. We will make it work. Or make it welcome. All right, this is not playing the way I wanted it to, so that's all right. It's all good. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and treat us in as we just take in a nice, deep cleansing breath. Letting go, letting go, letting go of all of those things that do not serve us. Knowing that there's one infinite power, one power that flows in, as, and through, that God essence, that spirit, that energy of the universe, flows through every cell in our bodies. We are one with that. As I speak my word and claim for each and every person here that we recognize the divinity of the I Am, that we are beautifully, brilliantly. We are standing in the space of awe that we are here, that we showed up on this planet, knowing that something wonderful is happening as we are intentionally creating a life that we absolutely love, as we get clear about what would I love. And tuning into that inner knower that just knows that it knows that it knows that it knows the right and perfect steps each and every day, each and every way, as we step to that space of gratitude. I am grateful it's already complete, that we are living our best lives ever, that we stay focused on the love, the peace, the harmony, the prosperity, and the goodness that is flowing. And in gratitude for each and every person, I just release my word into the universal action of the law, knowing all is well. And so it is. All right, welcome.
Welcome.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We call it Deep Dive Sunday Conversations with Spirit.
Deep Dive Sundays, Conversation with Spirit. I like it, because what we were having wasn't really working. So You're having a hard time hearing? Okay. All right. We will do the best that we can. And speaking loud, we've got the audio on. So knowing something wonderful is unfolding. I'm Reverend Valerie Reeves.
I'm Reverend Ann Eisele.
Yeah, and we are here today just to have some conversations about what we're creating. And so I ran off a thing that gives the core ideas from Ernest Holmes and the core ideas from Joe Dispenza. We have been studying Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and if you don't have the book or the Audible, I highly encourage you to get it because it is so good and so clear. So Ernest Holmes, change your thinking, change your life, of course. Our outer circumstances reflect our inner patterns of thought and belief. By impressing new mental images upon the mind, we create a new experience. How would you say that in simpler terms?
Feel your life.
Feel your life, yes, yes.
Yeah, just, it's thoughts are important, but it's what it does in your body that really create the life. And that's where the feelings come in, and the next step is the sensing of your body. So it's, for me, that travel from the head to the heart is really getting in the body and feeling it and knowing it.
Yes. Well, and I know they used to talk about if you want to know what you're thinking, look at your life. And sometimes I'm like, oh, no, don't look at it. Don't look. But we can get so caught up into what is right there in front of us instead of what is in our mind. And so even if there's judgment or opinions or even your own, it's like keep putting that down, and it's like this is the direction I'm going, moving confidently in the direction of our dreams.
Yeah, and see what is coming into your life. Are you attracting the same people that you really don't want to be attracting? It's that mind and feeling thinking. So it's really looking at what's currently here.
I'm attracting amazing people in my life.
Me too.
That is my affirmation every day. So on this same core idea, Joe Dispenza says neuroscience confirms this. When we think the same thoughts, we fire the same neural networks and create the same emotional patterns. To change your life, you must break the habit of being yourself by rewiring your brain and conditioning your body into a new state of being.
Yeah, science actually, they used to say you could not reprogram your brain. And, once it's there, especially from injuries and different things. But what they found, and Joe Dispenza is saying it, the neurons do create new pathways. So you can reprogram your brain. And, getting back to it, which I think is just awesome, yeah.
Yes.
That as we learn more and more, it's like, no, that's not quite true, but, we can. And the other thing that connects to it is your nervous system. When you can feel yourself, if you take a moment, when you're getting out of what they usually call like a resiliency zone or your okay zone, when you get a little bit anxious or a little bit hyper, you can just go breathe. If you realize it in your body, you can bring yourself back into your okay zone, which once again puts the pathways for the neutrons to reform. So,
Yeah.
cool stuff.
It is cool stuff. Well, and reading the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and other things, it's like every atom is a potentiality. Because now in quantum physics, they are learning that it's not the same old stuck stuff that everything is like that. And the observer definitely makes a difference in what's being observed.
Yeah, it's, the saying, not the saying, but the philosophy is change your thoughts, change your life. And now it's, change your feelings, change your thoughts, and open to potential. Because, if you're unlimited to what comes, then you're open to so much more. If you're set on having a house on this street in this neighborhood, you're limiting yourself. But if you open to what might come, that's where the science is starting to develop a little bit more, the potential that's out there. You don't have to have everything mapped out. You can leave it up to what's the best and highest good for me and my thoughts and what's going on.
Yeah. And remembering that at the end of every treatment, every prayer, every vision, it's like this or something more is happening for me. This or something more, this or something better is unfolding for me, and getting clear about that. So any comments, questions, or words of wisdom about any of that?
Yeah, this is a boon for practitioners because it gives us another tool. The book, I've really noticed that, if we could just tap into the feeling and the thought, you have to have both, and the feeling is critical. I'm on a bowling league now, and I decided I was going to invoke the quantum field as I was bowling. So I said, okay, in the quantum field, I can bowl a strike. And every time I did that, I got a strike. Okay? So, yes, I love bowling, so that might have been the feeling part of it. But, if you realize that there are unlimited possibilities when you get out there, and then you tap into that and say, this is mine. This is me. I deserve this. I'm allowing this to happen, and it does. So, remember that you have infinite possibilities. You are connected.
Yeah. Infinite. So naming your future, getting clear about it, which I have little cards. I'll make more, but we used them in Prosperity Plus the other night, and then we used them for the movie night, which was Beyond the Secret, which was really great. I see that you can actually watch it on YouTube, too. It's there as a free watch on there. So if you want to go back and visit Beyond the Secret. I'm also going to send a link to some of those that were there that said they'd never heard Les Brown, because he is phenomenal. He's one of my first favorite amazing speakers, that and Shaka Gawain with the creative visualization. Because as we visualize it, verbalize it, and feelingly believe it is already true, then we can step into the picture. It's just getting all of those old loops out of the way, those old monkey mind chatter. So it's like, how can we get that out of the way? Yeah. So what would I love is the main question. What would I love? And then stepping into it and affirming it's already done. I'm so happy and grateful that I am abundant and prosperous and bowling strikes or whatever your whatever your affirmation is, act as though it's already real.
Yeah. And what when you're open and it's like the energy's flowing, just accept it. You know, I've had some really wacky ideas lately. And, you know, because trying to do, when you pack up a house and you're trying to figure out what to keep, what to take, and, I've just been open to like, well, guide me, so and it's kind of fun, I think, wow, that's an interesting idea. And it's just, do I respond to it? Do I take that potential and do something with it? Or do I just let it float away? So it gives you options. So I don't know if anybody's experienced that with something that they've wanted to manifest into their life or pull in, if you'd like to share.
So, go ahead. Yeah, great. Okay.
It hasn't been fast kind of, but I wanted to expand my life and my experiences. I wasn't sure what it was. I just knew some of the things that I wanted in my life that I felt that I was missing. And I look a year from where I was to where I am today, and now I'm starting to put the pieces together that it was that simple time when I was able to actually verbalize what it was that I was missing or what I wanted, or in the areas of it, maybe not all specifics. And then I just, one by one, little things started coming in where I am where I am today. So yeah, it took some time because it was a progress, but I enjoyed the journey actually. So.
That's an excellent point. We always, not always, but end of the year is, New Year's revolutions and setting goals. Maybe it's that look back. Getting back to your point, what have I created this year? Mm-hmm. Where did it start from? And just journal on that and just open up to it. But yeah.
Yeah. So good. Well, and I was thinking when we're talking about manifesting, because moving, I have done that a long time. And when my two older children, because I had 4 kids in 3 3/4 years, it only takes 9 months. So, I had to explain to the doctor when he's like, how is this happening? I don't know. It's 9 months. It's not a year.
That's my question to you.
Right? Yeah. But I just had Andrew and Bridget left at home, and it's like, oh, we're not digging where we're at right now. And so I laid a map out on the floor, and it's like, let's take pennies and throw it at where we want to go, and just see what happens and see where we end up. And it would land, and it's like, yeah, no, we don't want to go there. So then you get it again, and it's like, yeah, no, we don't want to go there. Yeah, no, we don't want to go there. So we had some interesting times because we were in Nebraska. We had moved back there because a couple things had happened, and we were back there, and the little town, it just wasn't feeding us. So we would be driving 4 hours on a Sunday morning early, get up super early, and speed off to Denver because we could get there to the center there. And then we would go to the one in Fort Collins, and it's like, let's maybe look at moving to Denver. And it's like, well, that's not working, so let's throw stuff out there. But a friend of mine had moved to Kansas, and he's like, oh my God, you got to come here. And so we went there, and Atchison, Kansas, the most haunted town in Kansas, and it was pretty phenomenal. So we had some great adventures there. And it's like if we weren't just open, it's like Spirit guide us. And then when my friend Gary called and said, hey, you should come here because he had just moved there, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So being in that open space, it's like, Spirit, what's next for me? And let me be open to exploring that. And then everything just like synchronistic, it's like this opens up, that opens up, and everything just goes. And I'm sure you're experiencing that because it's like, okay, Spirit's calling me here, because it's like, where am I going? What am I going to do? And it's like, okay, everything is now synchronistic.
It's so funny you say that. I really connected with my real estate agent. He's about 35 years old, super energetic, and he's tapped into the market. He markets, and he has algorithms that bump your house up to the top ratings and different things like that. And he had an experience where he really felt like he talked to God, and he did it through Jesus Christ. And so we got into a talk about this, and I said, well, I believe Jesus is a way shower. He's not the only way to God, but one of the many. And so this all just evolved, and we evolved. And as we did, he was sharing with me what was going on in the real estate market. And I got to say, being a realtor is a powerful position. And so I started listening to him and what was going on, and he was listening to me. So we're both evolving. Long story short, I am getting my real estate license in Pennsylvania because I know I want to buy a house, and it's like, I want the inside track. I want to know what's going on. I want to know neighborhoods. And I thought, I can do this. So I haven't even told Reverend Valerie. It's been
man,
like
I
my
love
hidden
that.
secret, you know. You know, like you have to take 2 courses. One's 30, one's 45, then this huge exam. So I finished the 30-hour course by the skin of my teeth, and I thought, I'm waiting until I'm done to get the 45. But it is, you just stay open. I had no idea I'd be in, I don't know what I'm going to do with it other than find a home eventually, but, you know, it's like just be open, and if it motivates you, it excites you, that potential, just give it a little nudge and see where it takes you. So, yeah perfect question.
I love
forward.
that. I see you doing that. I have a friend in LA who sells real estate, and I don't know if any of you have watched Selling Sunset, and I'm like, do you dress like that? She's like, I would never, because they wear the stilettos and the low cut and the tight, and she's like, yeah,
Not
no,
happening with
no,
this one here.
that doesn't make a good realtor. So getting in that space, the next part is getting clear on your intention, and then looking at the patterns. What patterns of behavior do I have that maybe I keep doing? Journaling is a great way to do that. And I know journaling brings me full back at that. And finding ways to do it that work for you. I know my sister said she doesn't journal because somebody might find that journal, and heaven forbid, she's written something that maybe somebody wouldn't want to, she doesn't want somebody to know about. It's like, well, then write and rip, or do it on, I have a journal on here, and it's like, it's time to journal. Every day if I haven't journaled in here, it comes up and says it's time to journal. I'm like, but I'm not ready. So finding ways to serve you. It's like, okay, what are some of the limiting behaviors? That's how Ernest Holmes would say it on your path to change. Awareness of the old habits. Dispenza would say, become conscious of the unconscious. Observe the thoughts and emotions that keep you in the same program. The things that keep you in the same program. And I know for many years, mine was a lot of lack and limitation. And there's that, I mean, I still hear a lot of things from the parents. It's like, you got to work your fingers to the bone. You got to work hard to make a living. You got to, money doesn't grow on trees.
Sacrifice.
All those things. And did you earn this? So there's a lot of old stuff that gets deep, deep, deep into it, into our subconscious mind. And we move in the direction of our most dominant thought. And so if our dominant thought is still there, the best way to kick it out is putting in that good, pure thought water. I'm going to call it thought water, because as we have seen the muddy bowl of water, and we pour in the good, clear water, it starts stirring things up. And then eventually keep pouring it in, and we can't stop. We can't stop. We have to keep putting in those good thoughts in order to get the mucky water out, because sometimes it's really cemented there at the bottom. So it's like, okay, just when you think maybe you've got it done, keep going. And make sure that the new habits are of, I am prosperous, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, I make good choices. Yeah.
I guess throwing it out to you, what has helped you with that process? Is it the journaling? Is it the, morning waking up, best day ever? Is it the, I love you in the mirror? What are some of your practices that have just got you through, even if it's just in a moment, if anybody'd like to share? Because we learn from each other, how to sometimes get out of bed in the morning. It's just one of those days you want to throw the blankets over your head. Well, if anybody thinks of it. Oh, thank you, Tina.
Well, I make sure that I that when I wake up in the morning, that I wake up with gratitude before I get out of bed. I talk to Spirit, and you know, I'm grateful. And same thing when I go to bed, is that my last thing is to make sure that I thank Spirit for the day and for everything that I have. I'm going to share a story. When I was in Yucaipa, I had this friend, Jimmy, and he was married. He was on his second marriage. He had 3 kids, and he was struggling because he discovered that he was gay, and so he and I used to tell him, Jimmy, you know, you can talk to me about anything, and he'd be like what? Okay. One day he called me and said he needed to talk to me. And so, okay. So he came and he'd been going to therapy, and so he said, you know, he had to tell somebody. So he told me, and I was real careful not to say, oh, it's about time, or, you know, well, I knew that. So, you know, well, so how do you feel? How are you feeling about it? Anyway, I bought him, he was so scared that his family was going to explode. His wife was his best friend, and he had 2 little boys in that marriage. And so I bought him a journal and a special pen, and I gave him a key to my mobile home. And so he had permission to come anytime and sit there and journal. And I made a special spot for it so he'd know that I wouldn't mess with it. And so that really helped him. But yeah, I journal. I have a lot of journals, and I've journaled steadily off and on through the years. But you know, I have times when I do, and then times when I don't. So, but the being grateful is the most important thing for me.
Yeah. So I hear Tina saying she's sleeping with gratitude and waking up with gratitude, which is great, and doing that journaling. And sometimes when those other thoughts bubble up, writing, ripping, letting it go.
Yeah, I got rid of a lot of my writing. It was nice, you know, going through, because you just kind of stack it up. But yeah, and I'm one that I like to write, you know, just that forcefulness, you know, and just like, but I remember, you know, the just ripping. Thank goodness my handwriting is horrible. I was a waitress growing up, so I have horrible handwriting, so I think somebody would have a hard time reading it anyways. But
That's awesome.
So one of the things, key points I make when I journal is, and a lot of times when you're reading, the books will say, you do this and you do that. So I change every you to I do this, and I am this, and I make them into affirmations so that I can embody these words, and these are my words. So a lot of times, and that's what I do, you know, maybe when Reverend Valerie speaks, or when I hear something somebody says, I always change it to I this and I that, make my affirmations.
Love it. Putting it in first person. And being in the present moment, that it's already happening right now, because if I'm creating it in mind, then the universe gets to go to work. And sometimes I'm like, what have I manifested lately? You know, I get mad at myself because I hadn't made manifestations. It's like, well, it's like taking 100 different types of seeds and putting in one thing. It's like, let me get to the core of what it is that I'm wanting as far as health, relationships, and harmony and peace. Yeah, Kelly has a beautiful idea.
Okay, I've been working on, it's hard to put this into words. I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I like to use my body. I've been throwing off, casting off, well, that's what I'm doing with my body, of casting off these old beliefs, and whenever I catch one coming, I'm getting better at it, you know, or if somebody says something to me that isn't in alignment with who I really am, you know, and I will just do a gesture, and I'll ground, and I'll just really feel the strength of my body, and I'll breathe it up and I'll throw it off like that. I have to be by myself.
Yes.
And then I
great.
just try to feel the from the ground. I just feel my own essence. So that's what I do.
I love that. Even in our communication with others and with ourselves, being mindful. It's like, are we judging it? Are we closed off to the idea? Is it a pain in the neck? And being open in those spaces where we're doing our affirmations, but also letting go of stuff. When my sister was teaching fourth grade, she had a student in her class who was on the spectrum, but she said anytime there was something or someone he didn't like, because he was all about Spider-Man, he'd go like that, like he's throwing the web out to make it go away, wrap it up and make it go away. So I've done that before. Not at you, I just mean, yeah. But letting it go, and and maybe even sometimes to our thoughts that pop up and bubble up in ways.
You know, the kinetic energy is really important. I don't know if there's any Ted Lasso fans here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Rebecca was showing them how she becomes large, and she does like the grizzly bear. She goes. But what that does is if you can YouTube it, a TED Talk on Amy Cutter, who did a lot of behavioral research. And what she found was that gesture, opening your chest, becoming big, gives you confidence. It also allows you to breathe. And you know, because if you look at anybody that goes across a finish line, what do? They throw their hands up in the V. It's that open space. And she was looking at males and females in business school, their MBAs, and you'd see the males are like, I got that, and you'd see the females like this. And so it's that opening, you know, just think about it when you're sitting here, you know, are you just opening up and allowing life to come through you? But yeah, engaging your body really helps flow the energy, the feelings, and everything else. So thank you for that. Thank you all.
Yeah. Well, and looking at how you're seeing yourself, because I think having been such a shy little girl in Nebraska, that there are still doors that I get, oh, I don't belong in there. You know, it's like, can I go in there? And so getting yourself bigger, I know that Terry Cole Whitaker used to say, to help elevate your consciousness, go somewhere that's very opulent and sit there and have some coffee or tea and just, I belong here. Or walk into Tiffany's and it's like, I can have this. I choose not to today, or maybe you do choose to. But putting yourself in that place that I deserve and I'm worthy of, because sometimes we hold ourselves back. Yeah. I was thinking about, you know, sometimes people say, oh, yeah, he's out of my league, I can't date him, or I'm out of his league. It's like, where do we put ourselves on the spectrum? Because we're in everyone's league. We're in the human league. And so being in that space of, I can have whatever I choose. It's just a matter of choosing what works for me.
I remember I grew up, my dad loved to discuss. So we had a family of discussions. I mean, raised discussing. And he was in technical sales. And so he'd say, you know, he could usually find something interesting in everybody. And, you know, at the time, this is back in the 50s, he'd run into a few people that he was like, I couldn't find anything. He said, the only topic I missed was sex. So he said, if it was more open, I would have talked that way. But I just always thought of that. You know, we are humans. There's something interesting in each and every one of us. And, you know, that reminder for me from being a kid, like, I want to find out what it is, you know, and it's also inward. You know, there's something really cool about me. I want to find out what that is also. Mm-hmm. So it's that, you know, evolving and having fun with it. That's the part that I like the most, is that it's for you to do with what you want and just enjoy.
Yeah. I like that. I had so many visions when you said that, because I was thinking of discovering what's inside of us, you know, what's inside of us. And what I went to was when we had the Patsy Cline imitation, and she's like, I've got these pictures, and she was pulling stuff out of her. I've got these little things, but, you know, she's got you. But it's like pulling out, what else is inside of you? Wait, does anybody remember that? I mean, she just pulled out like a chicken out of her bra, and she pulled out a picture, because it's all the remembering of all the things that, you know, here's what I've got, but she's got you. But it's like, what do I have within myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always liked Wayne Dyer, his saying that you can't give away what you don't have. You know, if you only have 4 apples, you can't give 6 away. So if you don't have any love inside, you don't love yourself, how in the heck can you give that away? So, yeah, it's the same thing. What's inside you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seeing yourself in the bigger light and discovering. It's like, oh, what's there to discover about me today? And making sure that it's something positive, because sometimes I've had days like that. It's like, oh, but I just discovered this, that's still there, some of the muck and the mud and all that crap. So it's like, okay, now let me immerse myself. Let me take a day and immerse myself in love and forgiveness and possibilities, because every atom is a possibility. So what do I want to create?
Yeah, and I know, you know, looking around the room, everybody's been in some type of workshop or class. So, you know, throwing the spotlight back on you, what have you taken away from a class or a workshop that, you know, you incorporated into your life, even if it was for a day or, you know, just to help out a friend or something, if anybody'd like to share?
Yeah, it's a
You
great
know,
question.
I know I shared some of my secrets, but yeah, I know we all have them, and I know people, I know I'm putting you on the spot, so your mind is probably going rampant, but if anybody has anything to share that just kind of fine-tuned or started moving, you know, in a little bit different way, or looking at things just a little bit differently, because we can all benefit from it, the wisdom.
Yes, great.
I've mentioned this before, and it's not just one class, because it was an accumulation. So it was like I'd get a little information from this class and a little piece of information from this class, etc. And then I took mental equivalence. For some reason, that clicked for me. It gave me something that I could hold on to that was so visual for me. And to be able to, I could be anywhere. I could be in a bad place. It didn't matter. I could be anywhere with any people. If I consciously chose to use it, I don't always, because it's life. Switching it. Exact opposite. What is the exact opposite, and how does that feel? And that really, really, I use it all the time. It really, really helped me, that simple class. And I've mentioned it other times, but I wanted to repeat it because for some reason that class and that technique just put more pieces together for me. What was the name of the class?
Mental equivalence. And so
Mental-
what's, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mental equivalence. Mm-hmm. And so what's fun is on here, I have step 3, create a new vision. Holmes said, mental equivalence. Imagine what you desire clearly with feeling, for you cannot think one thing and produce another. Can't be thinking lack and limitation and then produce abundance. Can't think that I'm healthy, healthy and flexible and be thinking, oh, everything hurts and it's like, let my body hear everything I'm saying, that I am flexible, I am healthy, I am strong. Yeah. And allowing it to go all the way into the subconscious mind. So making sure that we are repeating it.
And practicing it, which is the same as repeat. So, yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing there, Dispenza would say, rehearse the future in your mind until your brain and body feels as though it's already happening. Yeah, so visualize yourself living the life you want to be living, the life you desire. This or something better is unfolding for me, and feel the gratitude as though it's already real.
The most challenging thing for me is figuring out what I want, because there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do I want? Well, today I want this. Tomorrow I want that. And so there's not a consistent practice on one thing, because it keeps changing, and I find that challenging.
Yeah. Well, it's like a kid in a candy shop because you know that you can have what you desire as long as you're focusing on that. But I'm focusing this, and this. So it's like, well, let me tune into spirit. What is the most important for me right now? What is most important right now?
Yeah, and that's where the practice comes in of just getting quiet.
Mhm.
You know, if it's through meditation, if it's through planting, being in the soil, being whatever that time period, you know, that is. For me, it used to be when I was younger, working with clay on a wheel, you know, just trying to get something to center, whatever gets your mind just kind of flowing, will help bubble up what is important to you.
Mhm.
Or asking yourself before you go to bed, you know, I solve by just asking the question before I go to sleep. And a lot of times wake up in the morning with like, oh, okay, that sounds good. I mean, that's how I'm moving to the East Coast.
Not just a whim, it was a thought. Well, in doing that visioning, it's like, what is Spirit's highest intention for me right now? What is Spirit's highest intention for me? And normally that's pretty consistent. If you were to journal on that every single day and just close your eyes and tune in, it's like, what's Spirit's highest vision for me? You would see a consistent pattern. That it's like, okay, take care of yourself, love yourself, exercise yourself. That's what mine says to me. Exercise yourself. So it's like, okay, I got the app. I'm doing it. Yeah.
Apps are great. Yeah. And the other thing, you know, I'm not very good at doing this. My sister advised it. But setting your phone or your watch or whatever, and then when it goes off, just checking your thoughts. What was I thinking? You know, what is going through my head? Because we're just unaware of all that's happening around us.
Yeah. And being aware of that. I've been at people's houses where they have like the television on, the radio on, and then they're talking on the phone, and it's like so many distractions because sometimes we distract ourselves because we don't want to hear ourselves. And it's like maybe there's too much, and it's not having made peace with oneself or being open to the goodness that's happening. Yeah. When I lived at Mount Madonna Yoga Retreat Center, I was there for almost 3 months. Well, she's my daughter-in-law now, but it was my son's girlfriend, and they were both living up there. And she's like, I need to take 3 months to do this. Could you come run the coffee shop? I'm like, yeah, best day ever. And yet there were no TVs. There's a lot of the groups come up there and do a retreat, and they're on silent. It's like, I can't speak to you. I'm on silent retreat. And so not a lot of conversations except conversations with the trees, and it's like you have to face yourself. And it's like I found on days that I had off, I'm down the hill, I'm going to go get some distraction. And it's like, well, why does one do that? Because maybe there's something in there that we're still beating ourselves up with and something else we need to put down the river and let it go. Yeah.
Anybody would like to share, been motivated, and any comments? Can be anything.
This is a bit off topic, but did anybody notice the rainbows on Thursday? And that there were 2 of them? There. One Spirit had already told me something major was going to happen on that day, but I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I see the beginning of the rainbow, but then it continued, and I saw from where I was sitting, I see the entire rainbow, and I remember thinking, well, you know, and I never really see the bottom part of it, the purplish. All of a sudden, the purple really stood out. Like you know, 2 rainbows. And then I heard something, and I leaned forward because there was a pole there, and I looked up, and I'm thinking, oh my God, here comes the second rainbow.
Beautiful.
But Spirit is communicating with us always. I mean,
Always,
we
yeah.
are Spirit.
Yeah.
We are perfect expressions of Spirit. And I'm getting emotional, so.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we are. And I think, that's one of the other things about this teaching is it's made me really aware of my environment. And so to get that impact of the rainbows and just bring it in is part of it. That's that feeling and sensing part that it moves you. I mean, like me with mountains here, it's just that awe.
You had something? Yes. Great.
You said it could be anything. So years ago, I was taught, whatever, to watch a cat. And when a cat gets up, it stretches. So that is a practice I do every morning before I get out of bed. I'm stretching like a cat, and I do both arms and both legs, and my body feels better by doing that. So that's just a little thing. That is one thing I do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So finding habits and things that work for you and being in that definite gratitude space. And I want to do a guided meditation for this so that we can let go of the old things that are not serving and then stepping into that new divinity and that iridescent, amazing, beautiful spirit that each of you are, uniquely individualized. So we'll just get comfortable in our spaces. So we just take in a deep cleansing breath. Just letting go of everything else, just listening to the sound of my voice, letting any thoughts just float away on a cloud. As you picture, imagine, pretend that you're at the outside of a beautiful forest that feels so loving and so inviting that you want to go into the forest. You can feel it's a healing forest, it's a loving forest. And beside you, you have a little backpack. And so you pick up the backpack. Inside the backpack are all the old blocks, almost shaped like rocks, things that are weighing you down, things that you haven't forgiven yourself for, things that you haven't forgiven others for. There's maybe some old anger or shame or hurt, things that you've carried to block your flow. And as you put the backpack on, you can feel how heavy it's been weighing you down. As you walk on this wonderful path into this beautiful forest, you can feel the trees around that are just sending love, support, knowing that you are absolutely safe here. As you continue on this path, feeling the weight of things that you've been carrying. And in the clearing up ahead, you can see that there's beautiful light up there. As you move closer to this wonderful clearing, there's a stream. And as you get to the stream and put down your backpack, you begin unloading the backpack. Any past shame, guilt, hurt, anything that you've been holding on to, you just put it in the stream as the stream just heals it and washes it down, moving far, far away from you. And with everything that you put into the stream, you just feel lighter and lighter. Feeling lighter to let go of all of these things that have blocked your flow or weighed you down. Old hurts, old frustration, any shame or guilt, any of the old patterns. And so we just let them float on down the stream. As you just breathe easily and effortlessly, breathing in the fullness of life. Knowing that from this moment forward that you have released all of that you are forgiven, you are loved. As you see your future self like an orb in the sky coming towards you, just in the right and perfect clothing for you that makes you feel beautiful, like that wonderful, iridescent, fabulous being that you are. And in this wonderful orb that's coming towards you, you see yourself creative, happy, joyful, intelligent, feeling so good as you just connect with that higher part of yourself. As you just put it on every cell in your body from the top of your head, through your heart, your mind, your being, your soul, that every step is a step in the right direction. As you just feel confident and loved, feeling safe and secure, knowing from this moment forward, every step is the right step. Every thought is beautiful and eloquent as you handle yourself with love and care. As you just feel so much gratitude for your higher self, guiding and directing you, for the release of anything that doesn't serve you. As you make your way back from the clearing through the forest that feels so much love and gratitude for you, as you just take that safety, that love, that gratitude, that clarity, that peace, and that harmony with the universe. Knowing that the trees are whispering your name, sending you love, knowing that Mother Earth is supporting you, that the stars and the planets are vibrating every cell at a whole new level, a whole new light. As you come gently back into this space, aware of your feet, aware of your hands, taking in another deep cleansing breath. And when you're ready, exhaling and opening your eyes to see the divinity of all you see. Oh, letting go. Welcome back. And so continuing to remind yourself of what would I love. And I am so happy and grateful now that I am making beautiful choices, now that I am happy and flexible, that there's laughter every single day, that we lighten up on ourselves and handle with care. Any closing thoughts from anyone?
I like the handle with care.
Yeah.
So at the end of that guided meditation, you said love, peace, and gratitude, so I put those in my backpack. I said, those are my tools.
Yeah, love, peace, and gratitude. Love it. We take with us love, peace, and gratitude. So let's go inside our heart of hearts, just breathing in the fullness of life, knowing that there's love, peace, gratitude everywhere we go, that is the divine spirit, the divinity of who we are, the I am that we are beautifully and brilliantly. We are not a drop of water in the ocean. We are the ocean in a drop of water, individualized expressions of creativity, goodness, freedom, that we just embody that, embrace it. And in gratitude, I just release my word into the universal action of the law, knowing all is well. And so it is. Well, thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yes. Such a pleasure. So fun to have conversations. See what people are up to.